Godox created a pretty interesting monitor. It's got a bright 2000 nit panel that covers 99.9% of the Rec. 79 color space, but the most attractive feature for a lot of people is that it's fanless. So if you're worried about fan noise, this one ain't got none. So hey there, in this video we are checking out the Godox GM6S Pro. On paper, it kinda looks like a lot of 5.5-inch monitors at this price range, but there's some interesting features and things apart from the passive cooling that kind of turns this entire aluminum housing into a giant heatsink. Godox also managed to utilize the multi-port for camera control. This removes another friction point for those of us who really want to use and prefer to use external USB-C power for our cameras. Unfortunately, Godox didn't supply me with a correct cable to actually test this out, which is a bit of a bummer, but there's also been a couple of negative reports on functionality caused by, well, at least from what it seems, more recent Sony camera firmware. So we'll see what happens there, but I still want to applaud Godox for kind of thinking out of the box by utilizing the multi-port and freeing up that USB-C port. Hopefully they should be able to get this up and running again with a future firmware fix. But for now, I'm just gonna pretend that there is no camera control on this monitor. The build quality and the finish is actually pretty impressive. We got a super nice fit and finish here on the overall aluminum housing, and it does get a bit toasty on longer shoots, but nowhere near to becoming a fire hazard or anything. We got HDMI in and out, we got headphone jack, and that little remote port for our future, hopefully working camera control. This side, we got DC out and DC in for powering and powering other stuff. Here we got USB-C power delivery and a power button. There's also a covered SD card slot right here for firmware, LUTs, and for the built-in kind of image or screen grab feature, which is a super duper helpful feature if you're doing things like match cuts or if you want to use it for continuity, special effects shots, that sort of stuff. And speaking of match cuts, something I know a lot of TikTokers and social media people do these days. We got a mounting point here on top, we got one here on the side and one at the bottom. So whether you're a normal shooter, a vertical shooter, or an upside down shooter, there's gonna be mounting points for you to get this on your camera rig. Now, let's talk about the onboard tools before we get to the color accuracy, which I know a lot of people are interested in, but we'll get there, trust me. Now, I'm not gonna cover every single onboard tool. There's the usual suspects. We got our focus peaking, frame guidelines, including 16:9 and 9:16 for vertical video, 3 different flavors of false colors, so on and so forth. But there is a couple of things worth mentioning, and I'll do my best to overlay some of the features here on the screen so you can see what they actually look like. But if we start here with the menu itself, it's nicely laid out. I don't have any issues with the menu itself. I haven't come across any weird translations that we sometimes do on these affordable monitors. So everything looks pretty nice here. We got our focus assist, we got zebras, which is a perfect little segue here. So if you're a person that kind of lives and die by your zebras, you're probably not going to be too keen on the preset zebras here, which are in 5 IRE increments. So that's all we're getting at this point. Hopefully Godox will be able to fix this with firmware. So that's a little frustrating for some of you out there. Same thing with waveforms. We got Y, we got YUV, RGB, histogram, and we got vector scope here as well. Nothing new to report there. Same thing with LUTs. You stick them on your card, you import them on the monitor, and they're there forever. But I do want to show you this assist section here, and I do want to start with the D-squeeze feature. Now, in my opinion, any manufacturer of monitors that includes customizable D-squeeze ratios deserves an extra little pat on the back. But this is also the place where my main gripes for this monitor kind of start to take shape. So I don't know if you can see this on the overhead camera, but the UI here is just super duper tiny. It's super duper finicky to hit your correct levels here, and this is just one of the features which is kind of finicky like this. There's multiple of them which are just too small for you to handle and adjust comfortably. I think the UI is, like I said, just way too small and way too finicky. Another thing that kind of ties in to the size here of the UI is the registration, which is the name Godox shows for onion skin, which is basically that overlay effect that we talked about earlier. Once again, we're dealing with that teeny tiny little UI here. Imagine once again, if you're out on location, getting your finger into that little X to close that down is going to be, I won't say impossible, but it's going to be more difficult than it actually needs to be. So that's kind of my conclusion here when it comes to the onboard features, the menus. They're good. Some of them are a bit clunky, but most of all, the UI needs to be enlarged by a lot. Maybe, I don't know, 15%, make it 20, 25, I don't care. Just make it bigger, okay? But now we're going to talk about the panel and the color accuracy, and we're going to start with the good news. And the good news is it's a nice high quality panel. It's an IPS 5.5 inch, 2000 nits, 400 ppi, give or take 401. So no complaints when it comes to the actual quality of the panel itself. And same thing when it comes to color accuracy. Once you've set up your color space and your data range so it matches whatever signal you're sending from your camera, normally that's going to be a legal range signal, you're going to have spot on colors straight out of the box. So that's the good news. But the bad news is the backlight mapping that currently causes a gamma shift once you kind of push past brightness larger than 75%, give or take. This is going to result in a more washed out image, and it's not uncommon on these more affordable monitors to have this type of behavior. It does with how the voltage and everything is kind of mapped once you go through the range of the brightness. Probably another video and not something that you're super duper interested in. But from what I understand, these types of problems could usually be addressed and fixed with proper scaling of the brightness slider. As it is now, once you push past 75%, give or take, you're going to get a much more washed out image, which usually results or can often result in you accidentally underexposing your shots because the image starts to lose saturation and contrast. So pay attention to your waveforms if you're using this at full brightness at this point. So the $1 million question, or the $219 question in this case, will this monitor or is this monitor actually worth it, especially as it is today? And the answer is mostly yes. For anyone out there looking for a quiet, high brightness monitor for their rig, especially if you're running on-camera shotgun microphones, this here is still gonna be an absolute winner, even despite a few current shortcomings that we all hope Godox will address as soon as possible. It also feels like it's part of a slightly newer generation of affordable monitors. We got support for 4K 60 frames per second, we got image overlay, and a couple of other features that we typically don't see on monitors at this price range that are 1, 2, or maybe 3 years older than this. So yeah, there's a couple of other things here that makes this stand out even more. But we still want and we need Godox to hurry up and fix and correct the backlight mapping, the size of the UI, and get that camera control back up and running again. That's gonna make this monitor so much easier to recommend to anyone looking for a quiet monitor or quiet monitor with a decent brightness or image overlay features, that sort of stuff. But for now, as is, I still think it's going to be worth it for a select group of people, especially those of you that wants a quiet monitor. But that's going to be it. Thank you so much for stopping by. Use the links down below if you want to pick one of these up or if you want to pick something else up. I don't care what you buy, but use those links if you want to be kind to me. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, sirs.